The dog's going to Pittsburgh today. We have 63, so it's a really big group of dogs, and I am so excited for each and every one of them because most of them are pretty quick turnarounds from the last time that I went to the border. But we do have some long-term stay dogs on here as well, so that always just warms my heart when I get to see them leave rescue life and be handed over to their new owners. So it's going to be a very exciting trip. Shailene, oh gosh, you know, Shailene, when I first saw her in the shelter, I passed her by a couple times, and then I looked at her kennel card and I realized that that dog had been there for months. And I pulled the manager, I said, how did this happen? How is she here? She goes, oh, she's just so sweet, we couldn't put her down. I said, thank you, and I immediately took her out of there. Abbott is a long-term stay dog, and he's a special needs dog. I saw him in Brownsville probably, I want to say almost 6 months ago, and he was so beat up. The matting all the way down, his eyes were infected to a point where they were almost glued shut. But he's wagging his tail when I stop by. And you know that this dog has probably lived just a horrendous life, maybe in a backyard or something. So I took him, and when I got him back onto the rescue, took him in for his evaluation. He had a lot of issues. He had a hernia that had never been repaired. He was almost blind in both of his eyes because the infection, nobody ever took care of it. Heartworms. So we got him all fixed up, and it's taken a while. It's been a long journey for him. We found him a home where he's never going to be by himself. And there's 2 other dogs in the home, which is good for him because he's almost blind and he'll follow other dogs. So they will kind of guide him and show him the ropes at the house, and the people are just welcoming him with open arms. Rosie is from the Harlingen shelter, and I first saw a picture of her and I got a pit in my stomach. She was completely bald, and her little face just was like saying help. And she had mange really, really, really bad. So when we got her here to the rescue, I started noticing she wasn't hearing very well. So we realized that she was deaf. So finding her the right home took a little time, but we did. The new owner actually knows how to do sign language. So she's really going to the right home, and I'm just happy for her. All her fur is grown in now. She still has a little bit of spotting on her nose where it's not completely filled in, but she's pretty much healed. Little Onyx, that was another one of the dogs that when I looked at her, my heart fell into my stomach. She's this big when we got her. But the shelter manager, when she came in, she took a special liking to her too, because she's one of those plain little tiny black Chihuahuas that typically get overlooked in shelters. And she also had a big abscess on her back. So the manager had the vet down there put a drain tube in the back. She also had ringworm all over her body. I looked at her, this drain tube coming out of her back, ringworm all over her, and she looked at me and just batted her eyes, and that little tail fluttered, and I said, come on, baby. Put her in my arms, and I took her. I just couldn't leave her. Oh gosh, Grace. So when we were in Brownsville this last time, I did not have a lot of space. I only had 1 space left for a larger dog. And I passed by her kennel, and of course she and the other dog in the kennel are both just equally beautiful. And I said, I really feel that we'll have a good chance of placing Grace quickly because she's sweet. She had everything I was looking for. But we also have restraints in terms of funding and what we can and cannot take. Treating heartworms, you know, is not, it's not cheap to do that. So when I went down there and I took her out of the kennel and met her, first thing she did was give me her paw. And I said, oh, hon, you know, it melted my heart right away. So we test everybody before we bring them in. And we ran her test on her, and the test turned up positive for heartworm, and I just lost it. I don't have the funding for it. We have a new building going up, and I mean, look at this. You know, and this is when I start like juggling. Well, maybe if I do this and I do this and I do this, and you know, you start juggling.
She gives me her paw.
You start juggling your whole life. Look, see, you know what, Dr. Card? You know what, load her. And I said, well, if I gotta go sell something at the house behind Scott's back or do something, I don't care what I have to do. We just do it. We'll just figure something out here. I just could not turn her away. And she has the most beautiful spirit inside and out. You just could not ask for a better, more gentle, precious, sweet dog, and loves everybody. And she's so deserving of this opportunity.
We're heading to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today. We've got a trip that's about, well, close to 1,600 miles. It should be about a 17 or 18 hour day today. On this trip, my daughter Jenna, who has probably made 70 or 80 of these trips with me, and her partner Crystal will be on, and Crystal's been with us probably about a year, so she's got about 12 or 13 trips under her belt, and they're fantastic. They know what to do, it's very well choreographed, and I'm really thrilled to have them again. This transport is the second biggest one we've taken this year, 62 dogs. It's always difficult when you have that many dogs because your potty breaks are much longer. More dogs you have to deal with, medications, food, pottying. So it always becomes a much bigger effort, but we're used to it. We've done 2 60-dog transports this year, so we're comfortable with it. It delays things a little bit. We don't get where we need to go as quickly as we'd like to, but we love having 62 dogs on board.
Knowing that they're all going to great families makes it easier to say goodbye. A lot of them have been here a really long time. We're going to miss them.
Pittsburgh is one of our best markets, honestly. For some reason, it attracts people from many different states. I think on this trip we have people coming from 11 different states to meet us in Pittsburgh. But it's a great market for our medium-sized dogs and even some of our large dogs, which don't typically get adopted very quickly. So Pittsburgh is probably the best market that we head to every year, and we do 2 trips to Pittsburgh because it is such a good market for us. Pittsburgh in 2017 is where our relationship started with OGTV and Hoopla, and we didn't really know what to expect, but lo and behold, there was about 10 million views of this little video about us dropping dogs off in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we were thrilled. Our fan base exploded from that point, and it really helped us from an adoption standpoint. People knew about us, they saw what we did, and they wanted to be a part of it. But having 10 million viewers or 10 million impressions is phenomenal for a little group like that. And one of the reasons why we love going back to Pittsburgh. It's a great market, great people, fantastic store, and we're just thrilled to be heading out of there today to go back up to Pennsylvania. On the next episode of Dog's Journey Home. This was a great gotcha day, and Pittsburgh is a great city for us. These people waited outside, it's 30 degrees. They waited outside for some of them more than an hour to get their dog if they'd registered last.
I am so excited for him. I've been excited for the last 2.5 weeks since I found out I was getting him. So nothing's been done at the house other than preparing it for Abbott. And we're thrilled to be getting him, taking him home.
If you want to watch more episodes of A Dog's Journey Home, subscribe and hit the bell and get notified next time we upload a video on OnlyGood TV.